We got a lot of scary support players out here, and we need to talk about it, okay? YouTube, what's going on, man? It's Father Dark. Y'all have to forgive me. I'm a little bit nasally. It's that time of the year, usually springtime and toward the end of the summer. I start getting a little bit nasally from the allergies and stuff like that. So forgive me if I sound a little bit off. But yeah, first thing I want to talk about before we get into this video, I just woke up this morning and I noticed that they released like some, information. I don't know if they did one of their dev talk videos or not. I haven't had a chance to like really scroll through my feed that much. But one of the first things I saw when I woke up, it was like a Christmas miracle or something like that, was that they said that they're going to start really getting into the throwing problem and levers and stuff like that with this next update, I believe. They said they're going to start introducing like longer ban times and stuff like that, harsher penalties and stuff. This is the stuff that we have been talking about for a while in regards to them implementing. They even said that they were basically going to, like, if other people in your team rage quit, you're not going to have to worry about, like losing the points that from that match or whatever the case is. And I did believe they had something where they said they would be able to appeal it. So if it's something where it was genuinely like your Wi-Fi or whatever the case might have been, something that was outside of your control, they will investigate that. But if it was just you just rage quitting or whatever the case is, throwing the match, that's gonna, you have to deal with that. It's gonna be a serious problem for you. And I know there was a lot of people in the last video that I made where I was talking about, this is back when it was just a rumor that there was going to be harsher penalties for levers and rage quitters and stuff like that. A lot of people were like, well, I'm not going to play this game anymore. Brother, I just want to let you know, I really need you to listen to me when I tell you this. We don't care. None of us care. We want you to leave. We would love if you left. Please stop coming into our matches. And I'm only talking about ranked here. I'm not talking about quick play. I don't care what people do in quick play. I go into quick play to have fun and to learn and try out new characters and stuff. Not to mention in quick play, people actually can come back into the match. Or not saying that people that left only, but I'm saying like they will add new people in. I'm talking about ranked, where once you leave, coincidentally after the 1 minute mark where they would just shut the match down for everybody, you want to leave like a minute and 30 seconds and 2 minutes because you got picked on by Spider-Man or Black Panther a couple of times and you just couldn't take it in a video game, I'd say. You decide you just want to rage quit and make everybody's life miserable and stuff like that. So yeah, don't worry about that. You're going to be having harsher penalties, and that's going to make all the rest of our lives, who don't rage quit and act like little children in the game, it's going to make our life 1,000 times easier. So that's just one thing that I wanted to bring up and talk about before we even get into the video. Now, let's go ahead and get into the video. So something that I've been noticing a lot lately, because I am a flex player. Now, I have spent more time playing support in this game than anything else, because this is one of the roles that people look down on a lot. A lot of people think that support is like the easiest role. They think that it's beneath them. A lot of people are like, well, I want to play DPS. I want to play tank. And I know there's a lot of people that will say, well, it's not just that. It's that support isn't very fun to play. There's not many different characters, right? Like there's only however many. And if you added the tanks and the supports together, I think Boger just had a crash out video about this not too long ago. And he was talking about it again last night on Twitter, just bringing it up, that there's not much variation in regards to like how there's DPS and you have literally, if you took all the tanks in the supports and you combine them together, you wouldn't have as many as there are DPS, right? And that is an issue that needs to be fixed out and worked out by the devs. But I feel like even if there was 30 support characters, there's just so many people that have this main character syndrome, and they would rather hard lock and insta lock DPS and then get on DPS and go negative or barely do as much as a good support player. Now, the thing is that from playing all the roles in the game, I've played tank, I've played DPS, I've played support. And like I said, I've played more support than anything else because I'm a flex player. I'm not petty. So if I load into a ranked match and everybody wants to insta-lock DPS and there's one tank, I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, I'm just going to go DPS or go tank and be part of the problem. I try to lead by example. I'm a leader at the end of the day. So I'm not going to sit here and fall into what everybody else does and wait on someone else to be the change that it is that I want to see. I'm just going to be that change. So I'm going to be support because who the hell else is going to do it, right? And the thing is that I enjoy playing Spider-Man. I enjoy, playing tanks and stuff like that in other roles and stuff. But at the same time, though, the thing that I have noticed time and time again is that when I'm trying to play another role, let's say that I'm trying to play tank, And I have support characters that are extremely scary. And when I say scary, it's kind of like an older people thing. But when we say scary, we basically mean like, not that you're an intimidating person, but that you're afraid of pretty much just anything, right? So that's something that I've been noticing with a lot of support players. The first sight of danger, they just panic and freak out and try to get out of there. They don't know how to push up with their team. They like to try to stay around corners and just not really get involved in the fight. And the thing is that in this game, you're not called a support. You're not called a healer. You are called a strategist. And it's very important that we think about that for a second. There's a reason why you're called a strategist. You have the ability to heal or do damage. Every support has that ability. There are some supports that I feel like are more focused on damage than they are healing, like an Adam Warlock or an Ultron or something like that. Mantis. There are these like DPS support hybrids, right? Then you have some supports that are a little bit more balanced in that area of they do, half and half, or maybe they do more one than the other, whatever the case is. But nonetheless, the point is that you have the ability and the option to do damage as well as you do to do healing. And the thing that separates you from everyone else is that you actually have the ability to heal yourself. Most characters have some way to heal themselves, if not all of them. I'm pretty sure all the support. If I'm wrong about that in the comments, let me know. But I'm pretty sure every single support has some way to heal themselves, just thinking about it off the top of my head, right? Now, the thing is that's interesting about this is that I was having a conversation with somebody in our Discord the other day. We were holding a stage in the Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord, I'd recommend you doing it. If you're having a hard time finding the link, it's right next to my profile picture where it says more info. You click more info and you'll see the link to the Discord. So click that. We do LFGs, we do customs a lot where we learn from each other. We have people of all different skill levels. We have some of the highest ranked players possible. Some people that are like in the top, 70 to 50 to 10% of players in the world. We have people that just started playing a couple weeks ago, like my wife, and we have everything in between, like myself, right? And that's something else that I want to say too. I am not the best player on the planet. I try as hard as I can to learn from people and to take every L and every bad experience that I've had in this game and go back and say, what could I have done differently? Forget this whole, let's nerf this, or I'm just going to permanently ban this person. I don't try to think like that. Yeah, it's nice when you don't have to deal with things that are hard in life, but when you do, how are you going to handle those things? It says a lot about you and your character. And the people that say, well, it's just a game. Brother, you could say that about anything. You could just make that rationale about anything in life and say, well, it's not that serious. I'm just going to avoid it because it's not that serious. It's about you and your character and your mindset and how you take that into the world and how you handle things. If you'll quit in one aspect or just give up or you're scary in one aspect, that's probably how you are in general. You can tell a lot about people. If you're riding around and your car is dirty, I can more than likely tell that your house is dirty. It's just that simple. If you're a clean person, you're a clean person, no matter where you are. Your desk at work is going to be clean. If you don't like clutter, you just can't stand clutter. If you're a quitter, you're a quitter. If you get scared easily, that's how you are in life. You don't like confrontation, you get very scared very easily. So back to the point. Point I was making is that we were having this discussion in our Discord. We were having a discussion about Black Panther. This is like a week ago or a week and a half, however long ago it was. We're having a discussion about Black Panther. There was a lot of people that felt like Black Panther there was just nothing you could do as a support player to take care of them. And it wasn't just Black Panther. People were talking about Dive in general and how hard it is and all of this other stuff. And me and one of the people that also play support in there, we randomly started talking about, being aggressive as a support player. And I'm someone who prides myself on not being very passive just because I'm playing the strategist role. I feel like there's a time when you should be aggressive and there's a time when you should back off, and you have to really be good at reading the room. If you have a team of people that are actually putting that work in, like you have DPS that are cooking, let them cook and heal. There's no ego with me. If my DPS and my tanks are doing all the work, I don't mind filling up health bars. But at the same time, if you've been sitting here 1v1ing, if it's a Thor versus a Thor and you're both just sitting here 1v1ing each other and his healer isn't even with him and you're being healed and somehow y'all have the same amount of health, there's an issue. I'm just going to jump in and blind this man, hit him with that cloak special and keep it pushing. I'm not about to sit here and just keep it. I learned that very early on. You cannot infinitely heal somebody that is bad at the game. You just can't do it. There are people out here who make it work with very few heals. But then you have some people who can get healed the whole game. You ever heard somebody like, man, I dropped 50, 60K healing and my team did nothing at all. You know why? because they're terrible. And it's okay that they're terrible. People have to learn and grow at their own pace. Some people start playing this game and they're amazing at it. Some people can play this game its whole lifespan and will stay right where they are. But that's a choice, though. You know, the point that I was making originally was when this person was talking about, we were both going back and forth about, you know, how you can be aggressive or should you be aggressive. They were basically saying like, you know, no, man, you know, we just got to put the fries in the bag and you know, just sit back and allow them to, you know, have faith in your DPS. You can have faith in someone all day long. That doesn't necessarily, it's not going to make them a better player. Okay. And like I said, there are times when the DPS are actually really good and they are cooking and the tanks are actually cooking. But you have to be able to read the room and identify when that is happening. As a support player, though, you are not a victim. It is actually extremely hard to kill a good support player. Like I said before, they have the ability to heal themselves and do damage, whereas the other person only has the ability to do damage. Most of the people you're getting dived by have the same amount of health as you do. A lot of you healers out here, you're afraid. As soon as something happens, there's two supports next to each other. What do they usually do? Oh no, something's happening. The danger is close. Let's separate. Let's push further away from our team. Like, do you even think about this stuff when you do it? Do you ever say these things out loud and see how silly they sound? You know how irritating it is when you're trying to play DPS and two supports are sitting there patty caking each other and taking little breaks to do damage on you? I made a whole entire video about Spider-Man. See, the thing is that I can talk about this because I've played other roles, right? When I first started playing this game, I was brainwashed by people to think that as a support player, I was helpless. People made me feel that way. You're support. When something happens, I have to peel for you. If I don't peel for you, well, it's just curtains for you. You should stay behind me at all times. You should never push up and help out or do anything. Why are you in cloak form? You should be in dagger form 24/7. Brother, they gave you that form for a reason. You know why Invis does damage and healing? And the healing goes through people and can do damage to other people when they're standing in a straight line? You know why you got an orb that damages people? Takes away their health over time? You know, Rocket's got this giant gun that he carries along with the one that shoots out the little healing orbs. What are we even saying right now? Like I said, you know, when I first started playing, there was this group of people that convinced me that I should just, you know, oh, you just got to stay in the back and let me do all the work so I can get all the accolades. And it's not even about getting the accolades, but that's just kind of like you could tell how their mindset was. But every single time that Spider-Man or Black Panther or Magic would dive me in the back line, eventually I got tired of just being food for these people, just existing for their enjoyment. So you know what I started doing? Learning how to fight back. I started realizing, oh man, as Mantis, you can actually delete Spider-Man. As Cloak and Dagger, you can actually delete Spider-Man. You can make their life a living hell. Then I started playing Spider-Man. Lorded him. Was having a great time with him. And with the amount of people that were complaining about him, I made a whole entire video. It was how to counter Spider-Man. Actually, it might have been how to make Spider-Man look like a Goofy or something like that. I can't remember. You can scroll down. You can find it. It's a picture of Spider-Man wearing a giant hat that says Goofy on it. So it's not really hard to tell which video it is. Nonetheless, the point that I'm making is I showed it from both perspectives. I showed it from Spider-Man's perspective. Then I showed it from support players' perspectives. I showed it from numerous different support players' perspectives. Me deleting Lord Spider-Mans that spent the whole entire game trying to attack me until their team pretty much raged at them, told them that they were selling. And then they switched and left me alone. Because that's what happens. You ever seen a dog run up to you and start trying to attack you? What a lot of people try to do. They try to run away, right? That's not what you do. You step forward and you yell. You know what you've just done in that moment? You've now told the dog, I am not prey. I am the antithesis of prey. You are the prey. I am bigger than you. I am technically stronger than you. But most people, they just go, oh, a dog, he's got teeth. Let me run. You know what the dog's going to do? He's going to chase you because that's what prey does. Prey runs away. That's what it does. Do you think a lion's going to run away from a dog? No. He's going to look at him like, have you lost your mind? You running up on me? Okay. All right, man. If that's the smoke that you're looking for, that's what you're going to get. And it's the same exact thing with you. A support player in this game is one of the most important roles in the game. Do not let anybody sit here and gaslight you into believing differently. And if you sit here and you try to tell me, oh, it's not, how many times have you heard a team say, GG, no heels? That has become a meme at this point. I was going to make t-shirts that said that for the merch because it's that popular. Games are made and broken on the backs of the supports. Knowing when to ult, being able to heal under pressure, being able to defend yourself and not needing your team all the time to peel for you. And acting like you're a victim. Not running around corners and hiding while your team is out there fighting tooth and nail to secure the point or push the cart forward. It's little things like that that make or break the game. And the thing is that do you know how many times I've been playing a match and I decided to just go, you know what, I'm just going to heal and not be aggressive. I'm just going to try to let my team handle it and do whatever. Just sit in the back line. And I would have twice the amount of healing as the other team. But you know the difference that I noticed with the team that won? Their supports would have like 20-something eliminations with maybe only 20K healing. Meanwhile, I got like 40K healing, 7 or 8 eliminations, and we lose. Now, why is that? You know why that is? Because dead people don't do damage. That's why. It is physically impossible for you to do damage when you were in the spawn room or spectating, waiting to be placed back in your spawn room. It's physically impossible. So this is why I say that supports have one of the most important roles in the game. It is up to you to strategize as to when you should be being offensive and defensive, because there is a time. Should you constantly be living in the front line with your tank? No. But if you just cloak and dagger ulted, why the hell are you healing your team? They're healed. They're damn near invincible without a Magneto or an Iron Man ult or any of those other one-shot ults. Without one of those, they're pretty much invincible. You should be in cloak form now. You should be blinding people. You should be attacking. Same thing with any other healing ult where you have the ability to still attack while the ult is going. If you see that your team is fighting someone and they're keeping them right there and they're one shot and they can't seem to produce enough damage because the other person is being healed just enough to keep them just right there alive, do some damage really quick. Attack as well. You can do both. If you see your tank pushing up and he's holding the enemy team back, do not just sit there and go, yo, man, this dude's pushing up, bro. That's crazy, man. Can't believe bro's pushing up, putting that work in, doing God's work out here. Brother, if you don't get your lazy behind up and go push with that man or woman and stop just healing only the tank. You do realize your DPS exist, right? They exist. A lot of y'all just want to stand behind the tank and just heal nothing but the tank and think everybody else just magically heals himself, or that everybody's Spider-Man and they can just dart to a health pack as soon as they get weak. You have to be able to read the room. If you got one person on the team that ain't really doing nothing, he needs to be getting less heals. I'm sorry. It's just how it is. If this man is 2 and 8 and he refuses to swap off Iron Fist, bro, sometimes you got to let that man, live in the consequences of his actions, right? If you look at the scoreboard, you notice this other person, Psylocke, is popping off and they're 20 and 2. Maybe focus that person. Not saying that should be the only person that's getting heals, but they should be prioritized. Another thing too, learn to look up. Your mouse or controller, whatever input you're using, it is capable of being pushed forward and looking up. Sometimes you might have to stay a little further back so that you can see everything. But learn to look up. Flyers exist. The enemy team always knows how to look up. When they got that Storm and that Iron Man, those people seem to be getting healed, right? That means you can do it too. It's not impossible. And with this video, I just kind of wanted to talk to support players because there's a lot of support players out here that act real scary. They act like victims. It's up to everybody to help them. Being a support player is so hard. Yes, it is hard. Don't let nobody tell you that it's not. As a support, the whole entire game, you are going to be focused. But you know what they say? What does not kill you makes you stronger. If you allow it to. Now, if you sit back and you make excuses all day, you know what you're going to get from that? My father used to say something. Actually, it wasn't my father. It was kind of like somebody that I used to work for me. They're kind of like a mentor to me when I was growing up. They used to say this thing all the time to me whenever I would go to say anything. And sometimes I wouldn't even view it as an excuse. I would just kind of be like talking about something that happened that stopped me from doing a particular thing. And to me, it made sense. But they would always say, excuses are tools that build bridges that lead to absolutely nowhere. Say that again. Excuses are tools that build bridges that lead to nowhere. If you sit around and you make excuses all day long, you know what you're going to get from that? Jack diddly squat. Nothing. As a father, I don't know how to make excuses. What do you think I'm going to tell my kids? Oh, son, you want those new Jordans for school, or you want the new Nikes or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't know how we're going to do that this time around. No. You become a responsible adult and you save money because you know that school starts the same time every year, or damn near the same time every year. You know that they're going to need clothes. You know they're going to need shoes. You know they're going to need book bags, school supplies, random money for field trips, the ice cream truck, whatever. I can't tell them, oh, I don't know how we're going to pay the mortgage this month because I just decided to go out to Vegas and splurge on the blackjack table or whatever. No. Oh, there's something wrong with them? Oh, yeah, I just couldn't take the time to listen to any of that stuff your mother, who's a nurse, told me or anything like that. You know, some of these are poor examples, but they're examples nonetheless. As a parent, you have to learn how to adapt to any single situation because your kids mean more to you than anything in the whole entire world. Their safety, their happiness, their well-being, all that stuff matters to you above everything else. I don't care what's going on. You ever seen those videos where like the moms flip over cars because they think their kid's trapped up under it or something like that? That's life, though. It all starts up here. I'm pointing to my mind, my brain. No, you can't see it, but that's what I'm pointing to. It all starts up there. When you tell yourself you can't do something, that means you've already told your brain you're not even going to attempt to try it. Do you think I tell my children I'm going to try to feed them today? No. They get fed. They get clothed. They have a roof over their head. They have whatever it is they need and way more stuff than they actually should have. They're spoiled, by the way. I love being able to spoil my kids. I just want to say that. It's nice being able to just give them anything. That's how I grew up. And I want to be able to give them the same exact life. You know, but at the end of the day, though, it all starts in your mind. And you can relate any of this stuff to anything else. Just like with the game. If you tell yourself you got to ban Black Panther every single game because he's a problem, why is he a problem for you? Do you think that there aren't support players out there who don't absolutely dumpster on dive characters? Why are you worried about the people who are struggling with them? See, y'all want to have this hive mentality and link up with other people that struggle with stuff. And then you go, see, well, there's 100 of us here that struggle with them. I could find you 100 people that don't struggle with them. I can find you 100 people that don't make excuses and adapt to the situation. I don't compare myself to people that aren't where I want to be at in life. And that can be with anything. I don't care what it is. I ain't try to hang around people that are more intelligent than me so I can be constantly learning. I try to hang around people that have more wealth than me so I can constantly be stacking my bread up and making smart financial decisions so that I can be comfortable in life. I try to talk to people who have more common sense than myself so that things that seem like they were out of my reach mentally can be in it. You should always be trying to grow and better yourself no matter what it is you're doing in life. Even for those people that say, well, it's just a game. Why are you playing it then? Do you load in to lose? Because I don't. I don't care if it's a video game, if I'm going down to the park to play basketball on a Sunday randomly. Nothing I do in my life do I go into it thinking I'm going to lose. Now, do we lose a lot of times in life? Yes, that's part of life. Of course you're going to lose sometimes. But like I said before, are you learning anything from the loss? Or are you just sitting back, going on Twitter, trying to find 1,000 other people that agree with you and live in some kind of echo chamber of, yeah, well, you know, this is really hard. And if we get enough people to say it's hard, then maybe we don't have to take any accountability. Take some accountability, man. Would it be nice if all the problems in the game just went away? Yeah. But how are you going to feel when it starts happening to you? How are you going to feel when the DPS start complaining that supports are too hard to eliminate because you actually learn how to become that person who doesn't really get eliminated that much? and they nerf you and make you easier to get eliminated. How you gonna feel when it happens to you? The shoe can always be on the other foot. And you know what they say? It's no fun when the rabbit's got the gun. As soon as those tables turn, all of a sudden it was all jokes and games before when it wasn't affecting you. Now all of a sudden it's not so fun anymore, right? That's the only point I'm making. So that was my little rant for the day about support players. There's a lot of people who sit back and they say, oh, well, Dark, you're always talking about tanks, or you're always, getting onto the DPS, but you never really talk about the supports. And they're right. They have a point. I can admit when I'm wrong. I make a lot of videos about tanks and DPS and things they should be doing and things they shouldn't. I go on rants all the time and talk about it. And like I said, as someone who flexes, a flex player, I fully understand what a game is like and how terrible it can be when you are not getting healed. When you see these healers, these support players that spend the whole entire game and somehow come out with like 8, 10K healing. Brother, what are you doing, man? Right? What are you doing? Why are you hiding? What are you afraid of? It's a game. You're going to come back. All right? So that's my rant for the day. But let me know in the comments what you all think. Are you a support player? Are you not a support player? What are some of the issues that you deal with? What do you feel like you disagree with what I said that was wrong? You're allowed to disagree here. Just do it respectfully. If you don't, I get you up out of here immediately. You just get muted and you'll be talking into the void for the rest of your life. Some of y'all like to come up in here and call people everything except a child of God. I don't got time for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit here and indulge you and help you feed into your miserable life. But as long as you can conduct yourself like an adult and have a conversation that's articulate and stuff like that, we can talk about it all day long. Like I said, if you want to really get into it and you want to have easier access to me, because a lot of times it is hard to respond to every comment after it becomes hundreds and hundreds of comments. It's kind of hard to respond to them all. I try to respond to all the people that are public subscribers first, because there's a way to separate those people from like the normal ones and stuff. But if you do want to talk about these kind of things, a little bit more, intimately, meaning just like, getting a faster response time, like I said, join the Discord. I'm in there pretty much all throughout the day, every single day, trying to respond to people. I'm not one of those creators where you can't ping me in the server. Worst case scenario, I'm just busy or sleeping or out with the family or something like that, and I just can't respond immediately. But eventually I will get back to you as long as it's not something crazy. But like I said, though, just let me know in the comments what you all think. I am curious to know what you all think. A lot of the things that I brought up were just things that I've dealt with personally when I'm not playing support, things that will usually make me go, you know what, just get off support. If there's any other role you can play, I'll do it. I think that's a big reason why we started getting the 3 healer meta and stuff like that, was because there was people who just weren't getting enough heals, and they were like, hey, listen, I can be that 3rd support and I can also do damage as well. So I know for me, obviously I don't think that was the first team that probably started doing it, obviously, but for me personally, that was a big reason why I started doing it when it first became a thing and stuff like that. And like I said, as being somebody who has played more time on support than anything else, I've had to deal with damn near every experience you can deal with in this game, because that's just what's going to happen when you play support. Everybody is going to try to focus you. The game becomes 1,000 times easier once you get rid of the people that are just constantly refilling the health bars on the enemy team. So of course you're going to be the primary focus of pretty much any and everybody on that team. So, but let me know in the comments what you all think. Love to hear from you all. Console rank, little update too, is coming along. These games that you've been watching have been from console rank. So that will be a video that I'm going to be doing pretty soon. Next video that I'm going to do, though, is I want to talk about, once I get a little bit more information about the penalties and stuff like that for rank, they're going to be implementing pretty soon for people that leave and rage quit and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, but like I said, that's all I got for this video. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. But I'm Father Dark, and I appreciate you all for listening and watching. I'll catch you on the next one.